Open your mind's door to J-Snip 4. Open your mind's door to J-Snip 4. American dream, relocated to Tennessee. Now he's on 10 acres, GMO free. Planting info seeds in the minds of the sheep.
So this video, I've been thinking about this for several days now. I think it's time I did a video. As soon as I passed this guy on a double solid line, because he's going about 3 miles an hour. Yeah. I've been thinking about this for the last few days, several days. And I'm thinking why I don't think the global coastal event and or what the remote viewing team from Ed Dames is calling the KillShot, and what the remote viewing team from Courtney Brown, they don't have a name for it other than something looks like it's slamming into the ocean, causes flooding, and takes humanity back to a previous age where there's no electricity, maybe not everywhere, but where at least they remote viewed, which was basically on the coasts of America. So I've been thinking, for some reason, and I'll give you that reason, of why I don't think it'll be this year. Even though I heard that this month, May 2013, is technically when solar maximum is supposed to be taking place for this 11-year solar cycle. And I remember NASA even saying that this solar cycle, when it hits the maximum, would be one of the most powerful solar cycles in over 8,000 years. And I said, well, man, if there's a ripe time for this global coastal event and the KillShot from Ed Dames and the remote viewing thing from Courtney Brown, all that, in which, by the way, the KillShot from Ed Dames was a massive solar flare smacking down on Earth, known as the KillShot. I don't know exactly why he used the word kill, but it's supposed to be pretty bad. You can see it for free online. Just type in the KillShot or Ed Dames, the KillShot. I'm sure you can find the movie online. It's not that long. It's a documentary, not a movie. But the reason I'm thinking about this, why it may not be this year, number one, the last solar climax I think was in the year 2000 or 2001. It's normally 11 years, but this last cycle here was about a year and a half or so past when they thought it would start for the solar maximum, which is why it's 2013 now, instead of like 2011 or 2010 even, for the solar maximum. Actually 2011 to 2012, I should say. So, going back to, let's say, the year 2000, when I believe the last solar cycle was in effect, meaning the maximum, the max solar cycle, when the solar flares and the sun activity is at its highest, producing solar flares, that kind of thing, coronal mass ejections. But I recall in 2003, which was 2 years after the maximum, solar maximum, I believe it was 2003 when a very large X something class flare happened, solar flare. It did not come at the Earth, but it was like a glancing blow, or maybe it wasn't even a glancing blow. It may have just happened and we weren't facing Earth. It wasn't facing Earth. And it was so powerful that it registered off the scale on the equipment we have in space, the satellites and stuff that track that. Now, supposedly since then, we've redone the technology, and we could, if there's a powerful one, we'll be able to measure it, you know, way powerful, supposedly, whatever. The point I'm making is that it was 2003, not 2000 or even 2001, when the maximum of the solar cycle was occurring. It was actually a couple years later. So if right now, the month of May 2013 is solar maximum, I'm saying that I'm assuming, it's just my opinion, by the way, that, and I shouldn't say assume, but I'm thinking that it may not happen during the exact solar maximum of right now, basically, this month and next month, whatever. It may be a year or two out, possibly. And here's the other reason why I'm saying that. Ed Dames, remote viewer, not him per se, but he was in charge of the remote viewing team. He had the military background where he did it in the military, etc. He was the guy, his team was the team that called the Fukushima nuclear earthquake disaster to a freaking T. Unbelievably accurate, except when they were expecting it. It was several years past the time they thought it would come, that they remote viewed it. Date came and went. The next year came and went. The next year came and went. Finally, just a few years later, technically it was just a few years off, or was it 2008, 19? Yeah, just a few years off, whatever it was. It finally happened. And when it happened, it was like, holy crap, did it go the exact thing he remote viewed. This is it. And he was back on the Coast to Coast AM radio show, which I've mentioned this the other day. I forgot what I was talking about then, but I mentioned this then. Where he's back on the show. I listened to it, as a matter of fact. And he nailed it, but the timing was off. And I think the same thing has happened to Courtney Brown, maybe, as well, with some timing issues and some of his older remote viewing stuff, if I recall. I know it for sure is Ed Dames, so I'm not writing off the Global Coastal event from the Webbots. I'm not writing off the KillShot from Ed Dames, and I'm not writing off Courtney Brown's remote viewing team with what they saw, which looked like something slamming into the earth, knocking people back, very high heat, all kinds of stuff like that. Not sure what it was, but it's a description that they got out of the remote viewing. So when you take that, then you take the KillShot from Ed Dames, then you take the Webbot Global Coastal event, you put all that together, that's a puzzle. And those are all pieces to the puzzle. It sounds like they're all talking about the same thing for sure. But it may not happen like I'm accustomed to seeing now when you think it's going to happen. But things do happen. All the stuff that we study and the Webbots and the remote viewing, all that stuff, it does appear to happen, just not when you think it's going to happen or when they even thought it was going to happen. This is like a whole new thing, you know. It's not like remote viewing's been around forever. And the Webbot's only, you know, a decade old, basically. So, I mean, this is something new. They tweak it, they try to fine-tune it, they try to make it better, etc. It's not perfect. So, that's my view on that it may not happen. And I remember Cliff I saying, you know, the Webbot guy, Cliff I, saying, man, if it, you know, if this Global Coastal event doesn't happen with, you know, in conjunction with or whatever Courtney Brown stuff by June or July of 2013, he made the comment, I might as well just stop doing Webbot reports because this is too big to miss. Something like that, he said. But again, man, I've seen so many things happen after they were sure it was going to happen, the time frame, and then it happened later. So even the Webbot, I hope he was just saying that out of frustration, or out of, not even frustration because it hadn't happened yet, but out of whatever. Because I like to continue reading those Webbot reports. This whole year, the stuff in the immediacy data reports, the last two I just did was the latest two, man, they are picking up on some stuff that is kind of spot on. So, you know, it's like that. I'm not going to throw that out the window. I want to know what it has to say. So, I haven't checked in a matter of a few days, as a matter of fact, to see if he did another immediacy data report. And if he did, I'll listen to it probably tonight or tomorrow and do you another summary, and I'll maybe go out into the woods somewhere again and read it again. I kind of like it out there. It's peaceful. You know, you're out in the outdoors, birds chirping, water running through the stream and that kind of stuff. It's cool. You know, sure, I got the green screen and that stuff behind me. I know I do that a lot, but man, you know, it's cool. It's really nice being out in, you know, I don't want to call it the wilderness because it's not like that, but it's pretty close to being wilderness. It's quiet, you're out in the woods, you got all the nature there. You know, so that's, you may see a backdrop of me doing something similar to that again. Who knows? But, oh, one last thing. If anyone has listened, this was several days ago, on Coast to Coast AM, I want to say Ed Dames, again, Major Ed Dames, was on the show again with some updates or just talking about the KillShot thing again on Coast to Coast AM. I don't pay or listen to that. So if any of you did or have access to it, I believe it was hour 3 on the show where he was on. And if you have a way of getting that in the MP3 file or something, man, contact me. Do me a favor and go to realistnews.net and hit the contact button there, or freespeak.net, and you can just hit contact the admin on the site. It'll come to me. One of those two places. Just, I mean, for ease of use, just go to realistnews.net and contact, and say, hey, J-Step, I got it. If you don't know how to upload it or don't have a place to upload it, I'll give you access through FTP or some way of getting it to me. and then I'll download it, because I would like to hear what he had to say recently, if he had some kind of updates. Because one of the things he said about when this kill shot was going to happen, this massive solar flare, you know, slapping the Earth, so to speak, he said that they saw there would be some kind of conflict or, you know, war where there's two opposing, you know, sides. And I thought he said it appeared to be like in the Middle East or that kind of thing, but I don't recall. I know for sure there'd be a war, and it would be going, you know, there would be fighting, definitely, which, I mean, it could be happening now technically, because we're still in Afghanistan and Iraq and all that crap. But he said that the two sides would kind of be like, what the hell is that in the sky? Like, whoa. And they just stop. No more fighting. Get back on these planes and ships and head home. That kind of thing takes place. He also said the space shuttle would come back from outer space early due to a meteor shower or something like that. However, the space shuttle is no longer in service. But if you look at the thing that has replaced the space shuttle, it is an unmanned craft that looks remarkably similar to the space shuttle. So if you're remote viewing something like that many, many, many years ago, and that's what he's writing down that the remote viewers are describing, by God, it's probably going to be the space shuttle, because that's the only thing you knew at the time that looks like what they're talking about. Oh, it's a space shuttle. You wouldn't have known, or they didn't know, that the space shuttle program was being dismissed in years later to be replaced with a very similar looking shuttle that is unmanned. So at the same time, you can't write that off. We could have one of these things in outer space doing whatever, and it comes down early, and you may see a little news blip. Oh, such and such, the space shuttle, not the, you know, whatever the hell they call this new thing now, I forget. It's coming down early due to a meteor shower, or the space station people are coming out and coming to Earth because of a meteor shower that's too close, or just whatever. If you hear that news, that is probably going to be the telltale sign that Ed Dame's KillShot thing is coming from the solar flare. So anyways, that's all I got for you, and take care.